When your back is against the wall and you're in a corner, you have no way out. Imagine a ton of years just building up this huge business or this huge pipeline of this huge sales revenue pipeline. And you put everything back into the company. And then finally, when you get a chance to breathe just a little bit, something happens where you may have a former business partner that takes advantage of you. Are you going to worry about how you got in the corner? Hopefully not. You got to get out the corner. I have a wife, I have children. If I did not protect them, someone would try to bring harm to them. If you're a father, if you have a daughter, there's plenty of men who would take advantage of your daughter if given the opportunity. They would do all kinds of things to her if they know there's no consequences. The moment they know there's a consequence, that is when they begin to reconsider some of their actions. So you have to understand how people operate. And once you understand how people operate, you don't take it personally like you normally would. Because when you're stuck, you're in that corner and your back is against the wall. And if you're thinking about, oh my God, why are you doing this to me? Trying to rationalize why your former best friend would steal that amount of money from you. Why would your former best friend take advantage of you while you guys are building the business from ground up? The best man in your wedding, you're staying at each other's homes. You're traveling all over the world. This guy's looking out for you. And to try to rationalize that, it's a waste of your energy, to be perfectly honest with you. Because that person then is the same person now. People don't change. Right? I remember my attorney always says that zebra never changes its stripes, or a tiger never changes its stripes. A tiger is a tiger, a zebra is a zebra. And people are people. They do not change. They will try to be slick and give you the appearance of changing, but in most cases, people don't change, unfortunately. They will do things, again, to give you the appearance so they can get something from you, so they can get the advantage, or they can get an additional resource. And I know people saying, oh my God, you're so negative. It's not like that. Kumbaya and meditation and all these other kind of things. Look how women have been mistreated in this world today. It's like super duper chauvinistic kind of world. You look at the religions, the woman is like at the bottom. You look in corporate America, she's at the bottom, specifically women of color. And so you have to build up some thick skin. It's going to be hard. It's going to be gloomy. I said earlier, it's going to be stressful. It's going to be some dark times. You're going to be like freaking out. You may even think about doing some crazy stuff to yourself or somebody else. If you understand the psychology of people, when your back is against that wall, you already know, you know what? This is part of the game, because this is how people are. And if you focus your attention on going forward and putting as much of your energy as you can into that, you would be a lot more successful. I'm talking from personal experience. And in some cases, I couldn't do anything else because there was such an onslaught. I had an ex-business partner who just, him and his attorney, upon his attorney's advice, I presume, because that's what a counsel is supposed to do, counsel you, they just sued everybody. How does this benefit the ex-partner? Maybe he's collecting some fees for sure that he should have been able to get without having to do that. I'm not sure. I wasn't involved in it. Maybe it's just a threat. But I'm sure that attorney who did all the filing of the lawsuits, there was some money in it for them, regardless to the consequence that it would bring to my ex-business partner and to our business. Now, I can focus on this particular attorney, this counsel, and the counsel, the kind of advice that he gave my ex-business partner. What sense would it make? The attorney makes money anyway. And the ex-business partner has no intentions on changing or doing anything that would be considered the right thing, that unless it benefits him financially. And unfortunately, that's how it is. Focus on that? No. Focus on building and going forward? Absolutely. And you just have to meet people where they are. So when you get in those situations and you're like, oh, woe is me, and why did this person do that to me? Why is this person lying? Like, as though people don't lie today, right? Like, are we really shocked? And why is this financial institution doing this? And why are they doing that? And this other attorney and this other person and this other client, my significant other. People do things out of a lower base level of thinking. And again, understanding the psychology of people and understanding that business is war. And in war, nothing is fair. Yet, if you focusing on what someone else has done to you is a mistake. And so even though the worst things can be done to you, thinking of solutions to get out of that is going to be your best interest. So let's say, I remember this, a mom who was being abused by her husband. He literally shot her point blank in the face, was trying to blow her freaking head off, and literally blew half of her face off. I can't imagine that happening. Even while things are happening to me, there's always something else that's happening to someone else that's even worse. It blew half of her face off to the point where she's deformed. But at some point, she chose to go forward and get out of that cycle, out of that situation for her and her children. If she had stayed in that situation, woe was me. That's a tough situation. Woe was me. What happened to me? Oh God, why me? She would have never been able to move forward, find someone else, remarry, her children grow up. Seeing her in a positive light, she would never be able to do that. Things are happening to you and I all the time. I was talking with another friend of mine, and she told me that, she said, wow, you seem all these things that are going on with you. She said she would have just checked out mentally. Like, how do you even deal with it? She said, you seem so calm. And I said, I go through it too. I absolutely go through it. When you have financial institutions swarming around to take advantage of you, right? You have clients trying to take advantage of you. You have fraudsters deliberately trying to take advantage of you. You have attorneys trying to take advantage of you. And you still have your life to deal with, right? You have your family, you have yourself, your own shortcomings. She said, you seem so calm. Like, how do you deal with that? And I said, I go through things, but I remember reading a book. And in this book, it said that you have to really keep things in perspective. And I'm paraphrasing it. And I just said the name of the book. It's called The Gap in the Game. And in that particular book, and I'm not giving it a plug, but I thought it was a decent book, at least the portion that I read. In that book, he was talking about his children would be unappreciative of their dinner. Like, I don't like string beans, or I don't like broccoli, I don't like kale, whatever it is. He says, okay, we just take the whole dinner away. And then now you have a whole different perspective, right? Which is true. And so when she said, like, how do you deal with those despairing moments? I said, I just came back from Michigan. My cousin who I grew up with, literally like babies and pacifiers, passed away. And something we'd never expect, healthy, physically, beautiful, in shape, everything. And we don't know how the cancer came. We don't know if it's the chemicals in hair and the makeup products and just all these chemicals targeting women today. We don't know what it was, but it came. She was growing pretty fast. And I said, my problems aren't those problems. Can you imagine the stress and the struggle knowing that we all have limited time? But when you develop something like cancer, the time is even more limited, especially as the cancer gets aggressive. So can you imagine how stressful that is? We're talking about our financial problems, or this business partner did this, or this bank did that. This person at the bank did this. This other company did this. Like all these different things that happen. And they're like fleeting moments, to be honest with you. You can go through it for a year or two, but you'll get through it. But someone who has an aggressive ailment or dis-ease, and then they have children and they're young on top of that, and you can see your life slipping away because of different ailments. Whenever you say when you have cancer, you're supposed to stay in a positive mode because you don't want to be stressed out because, creates more free radicals in your body. But how can you not be stressed out knowing that your time is so freaking limited, even more so, in that the quality of your life is slipping away. You don't have the energy, you can't walk, and you're passing out, all these different things. You're losing all this weight in your body. Oh my God. And you just have to keep things in perspective when you get into those moments when your back is against the wall, when you're cornered. And so when I explained that to her, she's like, wow, that is something. And then she told me her story about her mom, who was went to school, started a business, graduated from college, and became a very successful attorney, had the husband, had everything going, and then she got MS. And life just deteriorated to the point where she got divorced. She was in a wheelchair. She got remarried, if I'm correct, and the guy mistreated her, abused her, and she ended up passing away by the time she was 50 years old. And my friend said that she just couldn't understand why that would happen to her mom like that. She thinks some people go through things in life just to teach others a lesson. And I thought about that for a second. I said, whoa, that's deep. That's really deep. So it's possible that what I'm going through is meant to teach others a lesson, but you won't know the lesson unless I explain it to you, unless I tell it to you, and unless I share it to you in a way from a spirit of giving as opposed to a spirit of animosity. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm happy about it or that I'm happy for the people that did it. I'm not one of those kumbaya kind of people. Something should happen for sure. And something will happen. The phrase Murphy's Law or karma, right? I don't even know if that's what karma really means, but you've heard the phrase before, and no one gets away with anything. No one. And I'll just leave that at that. You think about that, like somebody who's successful and they do everything right, and then they get MS, divorced, remarry, get mistreated, in a wheelchair, goes broke, can't pay any bills, and then passes on before or by the time they're 50, that's a lesson. So I compare that to what I'm going through. I'm not going through that. Like, this period will pass. I'm still here. I could have a very fruitful life, health and financially wise, or I could go in the opposite direction. I can't control everything that happens. I can control how I react to it. When you're in those moments of despair, you have to move forward. These are some of the things you can do to move forward. I want to tell you about some other techniques and tactics in another video, but absorb this here. This should be enough to move you forward, because it's easy to get stuck. I've been there, done that, and it is not fruitful for you. The entire world will pass you on. They don't care. I hate to say it like that. Nobody cares about what you're going through. Everybody cares about what they are going through, period. I have some family members who will talk about me in a negative way, not because I've done anything to them, but because they think I'm doing better than them. They don't know what I'm going through. And it's not even personal against me. I had to come to that realization. It's not personal against me why they're doing it. They're doing it because they're not doing too well, and they're solely focused on themselves. So in order to bring light to that, to bring attention to that, to say, hey, woe is me, instead of getting out of that corner, instead of getting their back from against the wall, they're staying there and saying, oh my God, look at everything that's happened to me. Everybody, this person did me wrong. That person did me wrong. Everybody's doing me wrong. Since I was a baby, everybody's doing me wrong. And I'm just this helpless, innocent person. And eventually you believe that and you become that. And you become handicapped, not physically, but in your own mind, you become handicapped. There are people who I've seen it on TV, on social media rather, they have no hands and they're driving and doing all the things that I can't even do now. I'm like, hold it, wait a minute. How are they driving? How are they cooking? Like cutting food, building all these different things? Way smarter than me, way more resourceful than I am. So they chose to take their back off the wall, get out the corner and go forward. You and I must do the same thing or be stuck. If you focus on all the things that are happening to you, yet you cannot take it personal because you cannot move forward like that. Oftentimes we get in our own way or something happens and we're like, you know what? I'm not even going to move forward. I remember plenty of times where I'm calling someone and I'm calling them and they're not answering, or they're constantly saying, we have to reschedule, I'm busy, and I can just get all blown out of shape. I'm like, oh, they're not interested. They don't want to do it. And I'm talking to my cousin. He's like, dude, all these books you read on positivity and thinking positive. He's like, man, you just like a Debbie Downer, man, Mr. Pessimistic Negativity. I'm like, not really, but yeah, really, because I was taking it personal. I didn't want to pressure the person, but I'm still taking it personal. And the deal ended up happening once I got out of my way of taking it personal. That also means that when you're talking to someone, you can't necessarily worry about how they feel. You have to move forward. You're in that corner, remember? You're moving forward. You may have to walk right through them, around them, or with them. And you can't take it personal that they're saying no at the time. You're not offending them. You can't take it personal that they say, I have to think about it. You are not offending them. And I could go on and on. You have to move forward. You have to understand human psychology. You have to understand people. More importantly, you got to make the main thing the main thing. The one thing is moving forward. I hope I've given you enough information here. I may add something here that can help you implement some of these tactics/strategies that I've mentioned, because those are things that you can use. They don't cost a penny. And there's tons more things you can do. Don't take it personally when your back is against the wall, when you're trapped in a corner. Don't look for your friends to come and save you, because they're not. Some of them are only going to help you if it financially benefits them. And they may feel the same way about you, because I'm pretty sure they've been in situations where you didn't come through for them because you were focused on the one thing at that time. Don't blow the relationship. Don't blow the opportunity because you're in the way. Remember, focus on the one thing, which is getting out of the corner, which is getting out of the trap, which is getting your back from against the wall, moving you and your family forward. Focus on the one thing. I hope this helps. Be good.